This is a quick recap from our session today. So this is the first part of the session. So I'm going to open up the image I've downloaded from Unsplash and the artwork that I want to visualize. Open them both up in Photoshop. The first thing that I did is check the resolutions. Image size. Okay, so it's a web res of 72. Now in order to change it to 300 and retain the quality, make sure resample's unchecked, type 300 in there and you'll see these figures change. Okay, and pop over to this one. Again, I want to make sure that these resolutions are consistent with one another, so I'm typing 300 in there, resample unchecked, and this is the new dimensions of my image. Okay, make sure you're happy that that's the size that you want it at. Okay, the next thing I do is make a selection of this cushion. So I'm going to choose, in this case, the object selection tool. Click once on the cushion. Now this can take a little while. Okay, so just remember it's important to choose an image from Unsplash that works for your audience and also for the style of the artwork that you're using. Okay, you may also want to choose something that's kind of tonally similar to that you wish to visualize. Okay, so this bit can take a little while. So just to recap what we're going to do next, once it's made a selection, we need to refine our selection using the lasso tool is a good one, or the poly lasso tool, and these options up here, which allow you to subtract and add to your selection. So it's nearly done thinking about it. Okay, so at this point, I'm getting these bits of blue flash up, telling me that if I click on these, I can get new selections based on this shape. I'm going to just switch to lasso, zoom in, and check over my selection with a fine-tooth comb. Now I can choose these up here, so subtract from selection to come in and refine, or use the poly lasso, dot to dot, subtracting from selection, double click, and I can spend as long as is needed going over this with a fine-tooth comb, making sure that it's as good as possible. Okay, so once you're happy, let's just say that's now, you can make a copy of the cushion. So right click, layer via copy, and there's your cushion on its own layer there. Now I switch to my artwork tab and my move tool, click and hold, drag up towards this tab. I'm still holding, hover over there and release, and now I've brought in my artwork that I want to visualize onto the cushion. Okay, I can place it roughly over the top of my cushion, right click on that layer, create clipping mask. Okay, now I've changed the blend mode of this. We discussed blend modes together and we decided that multiply was most appropriate for this. Okay, and now at this point I want to go in and kind of accentuate the levels, the shadows and the highlights in there. So select that cushion layer, come up to image, adjustments and levels. Move these sliders until you're kind of happy that you're accentuating those shadows. There's a bit of a sweet spot that you want to find. Okay, and now we can warp the artwork so that it follows the contours of the fabric and the object. First I want to right click on that layer, go to convert smart object. This little icon tells us this is a smart object now. I can come up to edit, free transform, right click and warp. And now I've got these handles to play with, which will allow me to warp my pattern out so that it's following the contours of the cushion. Okay, it's easy to go kind of overboard here, so think that's okay. Maybe that's a bit overboard. Once you're happy, press OK up here. You may wish to just change the opacity slightly, just to kind of help make it even more realistic. And at this point, I want to come up to File and Save. Saving as a Photoshop file. Give it a name. Doesn't really matter what it is, okay, as long as it's a Photoshop file. And then also save a copy, drop down, choose JPEG, and then you've got this file ready to send to the DPB or whatever.